Тут работает. А тут работает. Короче, всем привет, с вами Сабу, это Surge 2. И я стримлю через OBS, потому что экшен почему-то не работает. Какого? Я не понимаю. Что происходит? И мне надо это все настроить, потому что... Ну, я, собственно, только что начинал стрим, но у меня были проблемы. Surge 2. Ого, есть то дома. Проверка связи. Не слышно его. Просто он. Я вообще хз, или меня слышно или нет. Трансляция идет, а на канале нет. Блин, ну как это так? Я не понимаю.
Открытый доступ, алло.
Хьюстон, Мэйдэй. Хьюстон, Мэйдэй. Хьюстон, Мэйдэй. Хьюстон. Ага, все работает. Хьюстон! Хьюстон! Всем привет, сами собой, это Surge 2. Наконец-то я запустил. Блин, столько проблем сегодня просто запуском стрима получилось. Вообще, что-то прям какая-то как заколдованная ситуация. Всем еще раз привет, скоро будем начинать. И уже все работает, блин. Ну, есть еще одна штука, которую я не проверял. Как идет сама игра, в принципе. Так что сейчас увидим все. Далі Стож, привіт. Не чути? Як справи? Х'юстон. Там затримка йде. Стрім. Чути, чути. Все, нарешті. Так, а тепер подивимося, буде лагати чи ні. Чи буде лагати, чи не буде лагати. Чути норм. А це через ОБС-ку я стрімлю. Через ОБС-ку.
What if machines were pure? A basic universal concept without morals or destiny. Yet because they are created by humans, inheriting all their countless imperfections, how could machines ever be better than us? Would they not, by design, follow the path of their creators and, in the end, fail?
My God, what is this? It's coming right at us. Are you evasive maneuvers? Take evasive maneuvers!
Please brace for impact.
Так. Давай подивимося, які дядьки є. Це прикольно. І ця прикольна. Наруто! Дреди. Опа! Какая тетя. Да, через настрой. Кратц, привет. Получилось через ОБС-ку. Через ОБС-ку. Так, мне все нравится, симпатично. Гопник. Еще раз привократс. 2 месяца спустя.
Medical report TS1. Our new patient has been in a semi-delirious state for weeks. The subject seems to be reliving traumatic memories of Flight 221. A girl. Some sort of anomaly.
Такая девочка.
It's not over.
But this can't be true. There was only one survivor in the crash.
Девочка довольно стрёмная. Смешная и стрёмная.
Look out! It's gonna kill you!
Это Наруто. Современный Наруто. Вот он какой. С голой жопой. Какой-то, блин, странное у меня как будто сглаживание нету. Масштабирование. О, теперь все нормально. Бля, шо я колбасит? Ключ-карта 5%.
This is Warden Garcia. We've located a major security breach. All prisoners stay in their cells. Robotic guards have been deployed.
Ой. Контрол блокировать атаку. Что у нее с руками? Какие-то там эти у нее. Это типа оружие такое у нее? А как это проиграть? Здоровье восстановлено.
See what you got.
Быстрей.
Can
Нельзя на
try.
дорогу.
There's nothing left.
Кого-то заключенного забыли.
Get lost, scumbag!
Это тап. Тен дорогу.
Fresh meat!
Ой, чувак с дрыной пришел. С дрыной. Палку давай сюда. Как дела? тюряга какая-то.
You. Please, you gotta let me out. I'm not a criminal. Just an average Joe.
Ну, это криминал, но, блядь, что-то... Она не может открыть.
Don't leave me to rot in here, okay?
Can anyone hear me?
Серегу не знаешь? Серега.
The creature has made its way
Сюрч.
into the security ward. Dozens of prisoners have escaped from their cells. It's a massacre out here.
Серега нулевой.
Maintain law and order at all costs. Failure is not an option.
Think you can mess with me? I'll kill you dead. Just like those damn cops.
Завалили. Крат, это типа Dark Souls. Презентация Sony в 11 часов начинается. Презентация Sony в 11 часов начинается. Это как Dark Souls. Пара. Только робот. Dark Souls только робот.
Let's see what you got.
Мне жизни не хватает. Не хватает. Бля. God of War 5 от Рей должен быть. Пацанчик, Локи. Пацанчик. Да, блядь, что ж ты делаешь, ёпта? Сейчас, секунду. Дурак, или что? Ехать, блядь. Три раза с одной руки кровь взяли. После второго раза снимок сделал ватного диска. Подъем в 6 на работу, 7 в следующий понедельник, выходной, график пипец. Да капец тебе график же жесткий, там, как рано встаете. Когда в 6 на работу? Как в 6?
Get lost, scumbag!
Я сейчас опять забью.
Fresh meat!
Блин, нету... Мне надо... О, лечилка есть.
Fresh meat!
Не следишь? Почему? Как это не следишь? Все ты следишь! Пара еще лучше, чем я знаю.
Thank God you're back. Please tell me you found a rig.
Все ты знаешь. Отдых, понедельник, анализы сдаем. Анализы сдаем? Опять? Ну, анализы сдаешь.
Think you can mess with me? Till you're dead. Just like those damn cops.
Ай, ай, ай. Воу, воу, бро. А как мне его победить? Бля. А как мне его победить? Писец. Пол-литра выпили. Блин, ну что, прикалываются? Это что, разрабы, блин, вообще на приколе, блин, вообще какие-то непонятно. Какого хрена, блин, происходит вообще? В чем дело, блин? Да что за хардкор такой? Да, блин, интересно, но, блин, какого хрена так трудно, блин? Такая фраза. Что такое фэт?
Let's see what you got.
Что такое фэт? Да блин! Ты видишь, как хардкор, блин? А что такое фэт? Я не знаю, блин, что такое фэт. Фэтбайк, горный вес. Нормально. Как он дорогой. 300 долларов стоит.
Fresh meat!
Есть шприц в окно, я руку до широка двинется. там ты ж руку так ставишь, тебе типа привязывают. И там потом...
Think you can mess with me? Till you're dead. It's like those damn cops.
Да это жесть какая-то, блядь. Да что это за игра такая? Ёб твою, блядь. Блядь, разрабы, блядь. У того пацана опять кровь взяли. Да как это-то? Как? Да ёб. Да это трендос какой-то, блядь, ну... Да ну его нахер, блядь. Да как в это играть, блядь? Блядь, один ема. Сплошной. Один сплошной ема.
Get lost, scumbag!
Мне тоже страшно.
Fresh meat!
Сюда. Да сюда иди, блядь.
Fresh meat!
Боксер, бля, понимаешь? Я просто, я вот единственное не понял, как мне валить того бронированного дядьку. Вот это мне непонятно.
Please get me out. You can open the door with a rig. You gotta come back for me, please.
Вернись. Да вернем, как этого оленя забли.
Think you can mess with me? Till you're dead. Just like those damn cops.
Вот его, вот я не знаю, как его бить. Ну это трендос, ну посмотри. Его бьешь, ему ни хера нету, блядь. уже понял. Я уже понял, как бить, бля. В Дискорде фото-фата. 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 Фото-фата.
Did you find a rig to get me out?
Так, а так что такое? Фото-фата.
Think you can mess with me? Till you're dead. It's like those damn cops.
Пошел в жопу. Бля, какой жгучий. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Сучара такая, ну. Сучка. Драная. Ай! Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй! Грёбаный олень! Да блин, вот тебе Dark Souls, блин. Хера. Воу-воу-воу. Полегче, бро.
Thank God you're back. Please tell me you found a rig.
Это вел широкими шинами. Так это стоит и дорого очень.
Think you can mess with me? Till you're dead. It's like those damn cops.
Да, вот. Сучка драная такая. Пойду готовить. Готовить что будешь? Доброго, приятного аппетита вперед. Фара, что там готовишь?
You are now eligible to redeem your customized MG Exorig Mark 12. Surgery is a thing of the past. The new MG is faster, more powerful, and sleeker than ever. Once you strap it on, it'll meld with your molecules in a flash. The metamorphosis is so seamless, you'll neither know nor care which functions are still performed by your own body.
Rig
Let
installation in
MG
progress.
take control of your nervous system.
Хера себе. Что это такое вообще? Сохранить запчасти. Открыть снарягу. А, снаряга, смотри-ка. Дефибрилляторы. Доброй ночи. Интересно. Импланты. Расход заряда энергоблока. Расход заряда энергоблока. Сбегите с тюрьмы. Выпусти Бенджамина из камеры. Переключить набор. Как выйти отсюда?
And take back control of your life.
Installation complete.
Доброй ночи. А как же презентация PlayStation? А как же презентация PlayStation?
Communication with the outside world has been cut off for almost as long.
Have a nice day, officer.
So, to mitigate the spread of a lethal nanite plague known as STRAK, government forces have been working around the clock to evacuate one district after another. A state-of-the-art containment wall has been erected to quarantine the area at the center of the outbreak. Stay vigilant.
Идем спасать того
But
челика.
most importantly, stay inside. This is the emergency broadcast system. Jericho City is under siege. As you know, nanites of unknown origin.
Rig to get me out? Shit. Thank you.
Вот челик.
I was beginning to lose hope. I'd love to repay you, but as you might guess, I'm a bit broke right now. I hope I'll see you again. Benberg never leaves a debt unpaid. I heard there's an evacuation camp in the city. Gateway Bravo or something. Gonna try my luck there. I always wanted to be a search and rescue guy. Maybe we'll see each other around. You heard about Creo, right? Well, I
Как
was
ты вообще
there.
оказалась за
Damn government
решеткой?
dudes came.
Она...
Thought I was finally safe, but they wouldn't let me go, even after I told them all about what happened. Come to the evac camp. I'll be there.
Ключ-карта Бенджамина. Встретитесь в эвакуационном лагере.
A state-of-the-art containment wall has been erected to quarantine the area at the center of the outbreak. Stay vigilant. Stay strong. But most importantly,
Там вон какой-то дядька впереди стоит. Мне аж страшно, блядь. Новый вход. Для применить. Показывает направление атак противника, который можно остановить направленным парировать. Отображает шкалы здоровья и устойчивости противника, на которого навели. Расход заряда энергоблока, предзарядка, места здоровья восстановления. Показывает направление атак противника. Хорошо. Блин, она так прикольно бьется, офигеть.
God, what is this? It's coming right at us. Are you evasive maneuvers? Take evasive maneuvers! Shit!
Прикольно бьется, мне нравится. Ну, а как это забрать? по идее, нычка. Ой, какой робот. Там такая тварь здоровая тут была. Буквально недавно.
Attention all prisoners. This facility is under attack. Your safety cannot be guaranteed.
А, это надо быстро пробежать. Это подзарядка дополнительной единицы выбранной инъекции. Да ладно.
You're gonna regret this.
Бля, ну у него жизнь. Бля, завалил. Начальник, сука.
Have a nice day, officer.
Оба. Оружие. Ну, это совсем другое рассмотрение.
Lethal man-eyed plague known as defrag. Government forces have been working around the clock to evacuate one district after another. Your safety cannot be guaranteed. Cease rioting unless you want to face severe consequences.
Зашибись, у меня ваншот был.
As you know, nanites of unknown origin have descended all over town. The lockdown has lasted for almost 2 months now. Communication with the outside world has been cut off for almost as long.
Have a nice day, officer.
Was locked to evacuate one district after another. Attention all prisoners. This facility is under attack. Your safety cannot be guaranteed.
Гипер тяжелая игра, реально. Вот как Dark Souls, так это с роботами Dark Souls. Это даже небольшой босс еще. Это еще даже небольшой босс. Ой. Так, возьму-ка я эти кассеты.
Have a nice day, officer.
Attention all prisoners. This facility is under attack.
просто трясется, да, блин. Как так можно было сделать, блядь, такое тяжелое, блядь?
Have a nice day, officer.
The lockdown has lasted for almost 2 months now. Attention all prisoners. This facility is under attack. Your safety блядь, посмотри, что он делает, а? Yeah.
Owner killed in action. Assigning drone to nearby police exo rig.
А, теперь дрон со мной. Теперь дрон со мной дружит. Круто. Сильно.
Excuse me, can I get my toy, please? Oh, right. Sorry. I'm Athena. Athena Gutenberg. Can you hear me? Go to Fort Nixon.
Форт
Find
Никсон.
the plane.
Найди самолет. Снаряга. Лазер, пистолет, диод. Вы не можете забыть таинственную девочку, которая является вам в видениях, что вы ждала вас впереди. Похоже, именно она ключ ко всему. Чё, прикольно вроде.
Hello? Can you hear me? My name is Brother Truman. I'm waiting outside. Take care of those guys, and I'll turn on the lift. Well done. The lift should work again.
А, это лифт такой, ни хрена себе. Что-то такое не придумали, просто... О, блин, что такое? Великая стена, центр Джерико, порт Никсон, скала Гидеону. Ого. Управление полиции. Это мы в управлении полиции сейчас.
Ah, you took the lift after all. At last, we meet in the flesh.
Что это такое? Что это за глюки? Глюки. Ай-яй, глюки начались. С видяхой. Хрена себе, вот это да, вот это страшно. А как сохраниться? Бля. Писец. Бля, ты посмотри, какие артефакты пошли, бля. Это жесть, блядь. Такой, я вообще первый раз такое вижу в игре, бля. Уже у меня вот такое вот артефакты. Я писец ослику. Я не знаю, оно работает. Короче, эта игра работает через вулкан. И не скажу, что мне это нравится, бля. Эта технология новая, блядь, это такой гемор, блядь, честно. Такой гемор, блин. Драйвер чекер. Что за чекер? Задержка идет на стриме, блин. Так, остановились, мы вышли из полицейского участка. Но у меня начались какие-то артефакты, блин. Бля, Николай, дорог. Бля, ты что? Что это за... Где это масштабирование? Качество текстур. Масштабирование. Бля, что с... Оля, как дела, привет?
There's a fire burning in your eyes, Acolyte. I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. The city is dying. The court is our last safe haven. Join my brethren and take back control. It's now or never.
Город умирает, только во дворике на побережье нужно укрыться. Присоединяйтесь к моим братьям, и вместе мы вернемся в власть над городом. Я только пришел в себя по секунду.
I can see your confusion. You must have been locked away for a long time. You'll be in for a rude awakening. The world has changed in a heartbeat. I'd explain more, but it's best to witness the new order with your own eyes. I belong to the Children of the Spark. A small but growing church dedicated to a great cause. We're always on the lookout for recruits like yourself. Someone willing to get their hands dirty for the greater good. Journey forth and find the court, where our prophet, Brother Eli, will welcome you with open arms. See that giant octopus? Right under its tentacles, you'll find safe shelter. You must have been in there for a very long time indeed. You'll see the awful truth soon enough. Anarchy reigns supreme on our streets. People fear the new dawn that's upon us. The government built a wall around us to hold back the inevitable. They reject the change that comes with the nanite swarm. This plague is not what it seems. Humanity is ascending. We are the progenitors of a new race. You're staring at Jericho City, Acolyte. At least what's left of it. Brother Eli will reveal your destiny.
Так, понятно. Так, давай я выйду. Я хочу посмотреть кое-что. Там это... Там должно быть поэтому... По идее, презентация Sony. Да, ShowCase идет. PlayStation ShowCase Live Stream. PlayStation ShowCase Live Stream должен быть. Вот сейчас. Потому я не знаю. Продолжать смотреть тут или в отдельно делать другой стрим. Я не знаю, как лучше делать. Эх, хрен его знает. Play has no limit. PlayStation ShowCase.
Showcase. At PlayStation, we believe in pushing boundaries and setting the benchmark for creativity and excellence in entertainment. We always love the opportunity to speak directly with our community. The new technology in PS5 enables development teams to build more exciting, immersive, and compelling worlds. showcasing their creative vision as storytellers. We've never been more grateful for the PlayStation community. So thank you for allowing us time to share some significant updates and brand new content. So without further ado, let's look at some new and amazing games.
Presentation. PlayStation presentation.
Peace is a lie.
23 июня, не 23. Сегодня какое?
That is what the Sith believe.
Сегодня
They promise power.
9.
Now they wield it. We face the greatest Sith in generations. They must be stopped.
Опа, Найт Зодер. Опа, Knights of the Old Republic ремастер. Молодцы. Блин, на PlayStation выходит. Игра Zero Dawn. Что это? Ктулху, блин?
하늘에 계신 어머니시여, 저희는 지구를 지키지 못했습니다.
Ух ты!
적들을 물리치고 인류를 구원하려는 신성한 임무를 다 하지 못하였습니다. 하지만 이제 저희가 다시 내려와 남은 목숨 끝까지 바쳐 싸울 것을 맹세하오니 부디 저희의 죄를 사하여 주시고 저희를 거두어 주시고 저희를 유혹에 빠지지 않게 하소서.
Красиво, да.
지하 시설, 방공호 같은 건가?
Очень красиво сделано.
여긴 지하철역이야. 사람들을 태우고 거미줄처럼 도시를 누비던 교통수단이지. 뭐 다 지난 얘기지만 말이야.
Мне нравится. Это типа Devil May Cry.
잠깐이. 네이티브가 시체에 기생하고 있다니.
Типа Devil May Cry Dark Souls.
매복이야. 그날 이후 지성의 도시들은 모두 예비처럼 폐허가 됐어. 잘난 신분들은 무지로 달아나고 나가는 놈들은 이곳에 버려졌지.
Блин, прикольная игра, реально.
마더스피어의 구원 아직 기다리고 있는 거야.
이브 조심해. 전방에서 뭔가.
Блин, короче, это китайский Dark Souls. Да.
뭐 살살 가고 놀았지.
뭐야?
당장이다.
여기야.
А, это проект Иви. Офигеть. Классно.
Ив, 저건 알파 네이티브야.
Иви. Блин, топово. Блин, на PS5, суки. 2K Present. Gearbox Software Game.
Darkness washes over the land. Dun dun dun.
Borderlands, no.
Dragon Lord has returned!
Fools! Your party of heroes can't stop me!
Who's ready to rickety roleplay? Spoiler? It's you, baby.
Да, это Borderlands новый. Прикольно. Да, это, короче, народ, это новый
Some of you may be asking,
Borderlands.
why are there guns in a
Borderlands
fantasy world? And I am just so glad you asked because shut up your face and get shooting!
You ready, newbie?
Бля, это круто.
Time for character sheets, baby!
Teen of Wonderlands.
Alright, trailer over. No end
25
credit
марта.
scene here. This ain't no super duper hero movie.
Прикольно. Реально. Ну, борда, по-моему, будет на все платформы выходить.
I'll let you in on a secret, but I'm a pretty big deal. Real big deal. We are getting out of the city, Homer. I promise we'll go somewhere that loves cats.
А, это типа Detroit Became
No more
Human.
fights.
Beyond Two Souls.
Clean
Да,
air. Bright skies.
Я думаю, это от создателей Detroit Became Human.
The actual...
Офигеть. Блин, тут графика, блин. Зашквар, блин.
Whoa, wait, stop!
Whoa. Гидрофа, блин. Обалдеть,
What on
блин.
earth is this?
Earth, yeah.
Who's there?
And technically not Earth. Well, not what you would call Earth, anyway.
I swear to God, asshole, show yourself!
Show myself. I've shown.
Where are you?
Right here, at the end of your arm. Oh, hello, yes.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm somewhere that's not what I would call Earth. I'm seeing freaking dragons, and oh yeah, I'm talking to a cop. Did I just do that?
We did.
I just moved it with my freaking mind! Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, kill jacked up beasts, I'll probably fly next.
No, you're just being ridiculous.
Oh, that's too far. Good to know those lines. Our land suffers. You are the only hope we have. You're special.
You're the one that's planning on facing off with Sylar. Tanta Sylar is the strongest and most formidable of all the Tantas. You will be doing our land a great service by killing her.
Frey! No name for a demon. I am the one you seek. The one and only Tanta Sylar.
Да, круто. Ну, блин, ну, наверное, на PS5.
For decades, Team Rainbow has been the shield against the worst global threats imaginable. Hostage situations, biological weapons, the threat of nuclear war. But now, we face the greatest terror our world has ever known.
Радуга 6, Радуга Extinction. А, это с этими зомбарями.
If we want a shot at tomorrow, we will move as one. We will think as one. We will do whatever it takes. As one. Together, we enter the unknown. Together, we fight for our future. And no one will be left behind.
В январе 2022? А, ну правильно, в январе 2022. Epic Games Publishing. Remedy Entertainment. Alan Wake? Alan Wake продолжение.
Whatever you do, don't go out in the dark. Stay in the light.
The Deerfest guests have already started to arrive. Just ran into one on the ferry. A famous artist, no less.
Переиздание на PlayStation.
Alice? Alice?
PlayStation.
My wife Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
Last night I woke up to a nightmare. I was missing a week. What had happened to me? I squeezed the flashlight like my life depended on it. With it, I could save myself.
Alan Wake типа не было на Sony или как?
Carl Stucky. Pleased to meet you.
My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Alan Wake Remastered. 5-го... Ага, понятно. На Соньке 5 выпускают. GTA 5.
Hey! Why? No!
Hello, Franklin.
What's up?
Welcome back.
I gotta run now, okay?
All right, bye, babe.
Make out like bandits on it.
PlayStation 5 в марте 22 года. Зашибись. Это Ghostwire тот.
Critical work. People always decry the truth when forced to face it. Still your fear. I will be her salvation.
Mari!
The time is nigh. The world rests on the precipice of transformation. A new age will dawn. Guardians of the galaxy. You came here seeking truth. A choice. The matriarch wishes to share it with you.
United in the light of belief, all suffering, all grief will end.
Oh! Ah! Ah!
What's wrong with you?
Oh, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Cease this at once.
Fine. Osmo! How you doing, buddy?
Grand Unifier Raker, leader of the Church of Truth.
During that ritual with the priests, they kept talking about a promise.
It was like they were drinking funky juice or something.
Or joined a cult.
So let us investigate for you.
Always catch, Peter Quill. And not fun kind with Bob.
Hey, World Mind, long time no see.
The current probability of defeating
The Universal Church of Truth is
0.3%.
Is that bad? It sounds bad.
It is.
I hope you've got one hell of a speech plan, Peter.
That makes two of us.
Follow me!
By rejecting the promise, you have proven yourselves unworthy, and you must be destroyed!
That was completely intentional. The Milano's on her way. Thanks, bud.
26 октября выходит. Офигеть. Это Bloodhunt. О, это Bloodhunt. опять. Ее уже можно играть. И на ПК тоже. В Steam в раннем.
Welcome to the Eon program. Picture your perfect you. Your health, your enlightenment, your passion. Not just freedom, we offer eternity.
Shut up.
Your esteemed visionaries believe the only thing missing from Black Reach is you.
The Visionaries. 8 geniuses who painted up a prison and named it Freedom. Locked us all in one repeating day. Their eternity. An endless party that you can never leave.
I am a storm rolling. Round and round we shall go.
Place is supposed to be unforgettable. A bunch of spaced-out science nerds, brainwashed cultists flinging bombs, whatever these guys are doing, all spewing Eon's bullshit. So how come I don't remember shit? This Party Island hangover is none my thing. My thing is answers. Who are these people? What do they want with me? And why is she always one step ahead? Come on, Colt. You gotta put this together. Somebody built this place. Somebody's sending me these messages from the future, the past, whenever. And some jackass wrecked every plane out here. Is this a contest for them? Some type of experiment? How does this time loop work? Does anybody remember? Why is everyone wearing a mask? What the hell is Black Man's notes anymore? Who am I?
Colt, I want you to remember. I want you to remember why you came here.
Huh. Is that? Damn, I look good. I've imagined myself a way out. Gonna break this time loop before it breaks me.
Siap. Kalau cuma Philip Meapur.
Meaji?
Sampai muna nyawak. Hiti yang azo ikuhu ni angage.
Amici, lo sabi niya na pet.
Chez Oleti.
The biggest pirate treasure of all time is within our grasp.
The Tusk of Ganesh? Now that's not an easy fight.
Last I checked, we're all a bunch of thieves digging around where we shouldn't.
Hang on! Oh, crap!
Everyone obsessed with this treasure gets what they deserve.
Are you ready to seek your fortune?
I'm Herman Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios. PlayStation Studios, at its heart, is a diverse and passionate group of storytellers at our collective of AAA studios all across the globe. Everything we do is driven and inspired by storytelling. As creators, PlayStation 5 gives us the opportunity to push the boundaries of storytelling even further. Our world-class development teams at PlayStation Studios have already delivered such incredible gaming experiences for PS5, and we're only just getting started. As you'll see today with the lineup of exclusive games coming for PlayStation Studios, we're going to continue to drive innovation, advance gaming, while always embracing the legacy of PlayStation and creating games that matter. Games that you're not going to find anywhere else. Enjoy.
Я не понял юмора.
At the dark end of the street, that's where we always meet. Hiding in the shadows. Новая игра от Марвел. Living in the darkness, hide out you and me.
Опа, а сама Wolverine. PlayStation 5 опять. Там, короче, показали Uncharted, что типа выйдет на... Гран Туризмо. Новый Гран Туризмо. Форза нервно курит в сторонке. Отдыхает.
as long as I can remember, I have looked for an equal. One who could push me. One who could surprise me. One who could even beat me. Yet all I found is disappointment. Will one of you finally give me what I desire?
Wow.
Yes, we will.
Спайдермен 2, Марвел. Марвел, Спайдермен 2. В 23-м году, офигеть. Бля. Грязь Зерон 2. God of War. Ты вырос. Ну чуть-чуть вырос. Чуть-чуть вырос.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming. My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard?
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
We do not know what Mother wanted.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere. Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
You mean Tyr, the old god of war in these lands, who is dead?
Well, for a dead man, Odin seemed pretty keen on seeing he wasn't found.
If he's out there, we gotta find him.
Come in. What in all yarns be that happened to him?
We're trying to stop Ragnarok, to help people. And what if the only way to do that is war?
War is not the only way.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
No! You seem like a calm and reasonable person. Are you a calm and reasonable person? In moments of crisis, panic does nothing. Harness it. Let it serve you.
Tyr!
Tyr?
Are you coming with us?
Офигеть.
You'll get your answer soon enough.
God of War.
Well, some of them.
Кто это? Офигеть. Охренеть.
unbelievable. Yes, yes, inconceivable. See myself as fairly reasonable, but at times I can be stubborn. So if I have to, I will rock the boat. I don't tend to take the easy road. That's just not the way I like to roll. Shoot things probably unfeasible. I've done already a hundredfold. It's probable that I might press the envelope. Ideas so astronomical. Sometimes I find them comical. Yeah, incomparable. Replay value phenomenal. Beat selection remarkable. Slowing me down impossible. I don't rock no rollies. I don't hang around no phonies. I always advance. Say I fail, you know I stand. Raising the bar, I got experience. Top of the charts, I'm setting up camp. Pounding my stakes, I put on my tent. Shoot for the stars, they fall in my head. Stick to my guns, I don't even flinch. Can push all you want, they moving in next. I rarely miss, I'm happy I did it. Beat all the odds, I ain't got no limits. Can it be stopped? You paying attention? I ain't gotta say it. They know where my head is, they know where my head is.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere.
And that was the PlayStation Showcase. We've got more info and updates coming right now, and I'm in fact joined by no less than PlayStation Studios head Herman Hulst. Herman, really strong showing here from PlayStation Studios tonight, including an awesome new look at GT7 and finally a release date.
GT7 is coming in March, and I don't think fans are going to be disappointed with what Yamauchi-san and Polyphony have been working on. And what we're doing with GT7 is we're pulling from the entire history of the franchise, taking some of the best features into GT7. GT campaign, arcade missions, all that good stuff. And I got a chance to play, and it just looks and plays sensationally. The haptics, the vibrations, you feel the rolls, the pull and the weight of the different cars. I'll tell you, the one thing that I personally really liked is the braking variations through the adaptive triggers. That really kind of makes you feel like you're an incredible racer, and for me that's great.
Great to hear that about GT7. I can't wait to play that, but I also really wanted to talk about Insomniac. I mean, this is a studio that is absolutely on fire the last year, maybe 18 months with Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank, A Rift Apart, and now two big reveals tonight in the form of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine. It's kind of a shock. You work really closely with Insom, Herman, so what can you tell us about just why Insom gets so fired up about the Marvel Universe?
I mean, Sid, you said it, Insomniac are on fire. They've been just so productive, and I think the team in Insomniac, they're really always challenging themselves to raise the bar with their approach to storytelling and craftsmanship, and it's really evident in the consistently high quality of games that they've been delivering over the years. I think on top of that, they really prize collaboration amongst their team, and that collaboration that also extends to the way that they work with other PlayStation teams, but also their work with their great partners at Marvel. And that collaboration resulted in the amazing first two Marvel Spider-Man games. And I know that Insomniac are extremely excited to be further expanding the universe into Marvel Spider-Man 2 now. And they're also going to be raising the bar again, in terms of immersion, action, visual fidelity. I think Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be a spectacular showpiece for gaming. And they're also so thrilled to then bring gamers an emotional and a suspenseful journey into Marvel's Wolverine. I think that PlayStation fans are really going to be in for a treat over the next few years.
Very cool, very exciting times, and on multiple fronts. Tonight, we also got our first big look at God of War Ragnarok. Herman, what can you tell us about where Santa Monica Studio is going with this one?
Like many of the fans, I'm personally really invested in the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. We got to see in the trailer that there's some real tension brewing between them as Ragnarok approaches, so I can't wait for players to see how that relationship between them evolves. And you gotta trust me when I say that Santa Monica Studio have prepared quite a few twists and turns for players as they set up the finale of the Norse saga in God of War Ragnarok.
We're gonna get an update on God of War Ragnarok from Santa Monica Studio here in just a moment. But before you go, Herman, I want to get your take on Horizon Forbidden West. Now, we've learned that this one is coming out in February. I am sure that by this point you have played it. So what has jumped out to you? What can you tell us about the game?
I've had a chance to play the game on PS4 and PS5, and it looks great on both. For PS5, the level of detail on Aloy, her kit, her lighting, it's just exceptional. Even more amazing because the environments have so much going on too. From the ruins of San Francisco to those new underwater areas, everything just looks breathtaking, and it loads really fast because of the SSD. Plus, the combat in the game offers so much variety. It's all based on player choice. There's so many cool weapons and tools, and when you combine these together, that comes in really handy when you're dealing with the new machines. On PS5, the haptic feedback on the controller, I think in my mind really adds to the experience, you know, when you're firing arrows and the other ammo. You know, the team at Guerrilla, I know them so well. I'm super proud of them. They're creating something incredibly special, and I just can't wait for gamers to get the next chapter of Aloy's adventure in their hands.
Thanks for the update, Herman. We're joined now by Eric and Corey from Santa Monica Studio. And I wanted to check in with you two on the big announce we saw just a few minutes ago, God of War Ragnarok. We finally got our first big look at it. And actually, Eric, I wanted to start with you. You've been involved with every single God of War, including 2018's God of War. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Sid. I've been with the studio since 2004 in many different capacities, working with both Santa Monica and Ready at Dawn on the God of War franchise. And I don't know why, but they thought it'd be a good idea to say, hey, do you want to direct this one? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm directing God of War Ragnarok, or as Corey likes to call it, never heard of it. So that's the update on that.
So Eric, why the shift in leadership on God of War Ragnarok?
It's always been a tradition here at Santa Monica to change the directors across the games. You know, we've had really good success with that. Corey's been the only repeat director, and, you know, rightfully so. He's pretty damn good at what he does. So that's kind of what it is.
The important thing for us is to be able to kind of get a fresh perspective each time, but also, you know, a fresh pair of legs in the sense that you're really exhausted at the end of finishing one of these things. So you got to con somebody else into doing it, like him.
So Eric, what aesthetics or themes sort of resonate with you as a creative? I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is like, how do you see yourself leaving your fingerprints on God of War Ragnarok?
It's kind of the designer in me wants to answer one way, but as a director, you have to answer a different way. I think you have to learn how to jettison your own profession when you switch over to the director's role, which I'm sure Corey can understand. I mean, he kind of animated a little bit on God of War 2, and we kind of had to throw it all out, except for that sneaky backflip that Kratos has never done again that we left in. But that's the perk of being the director, I guess. But, you know, from my point of view, like, we want to tell a very heartfelt and epic story as, you know, a father and son go on a journey, and they kind of struggle with holding on to stuff and letting go of things. You know, it's a very difficult kind of human condition that we all deal with. And we kind of want to arrive at that by taking like slices of life or family, you know, drama, if you will, and kind of juxtapose that against big Norse backdrop. And, you know, at the end, we just want to have an ending that feels very, you know, surprising yet inevitable based on all those things. But it's kind of, you know, I'm from the Midwest, so like slice of life, very common, mundane things are just as interesting as big world events. And so we try to collide those things together. It's, you know, make an experience that's very worthy of the God of War name.
So with the game officially being called God of War Ragnarok, I guess it doesn't take a genius to think that perhaps Ragnarok factors into this game in some manner. Can you confirm that, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, you can't call the game God of War Ragnarok and not have Ragnarok happen in the game. So, you know, it's going to happen. We're going to cap off the Norse series with it. And I think Chris Judge said it best in the announced trailer last year. Prepare yourselves.
The last game ended with a teaser of sorts for Thor. And I just got to know, was that Thor's voice we heard in the trailer just a few minutes ago?
That was definitely Thor's voice that we heard in the trailer. Thor is being played by Ryan Hurst, which you might know him from Sons of Anarchy. He played Opie, one of my favorite characters ever. And we're just delighted to have him come play in the God of War sandbox. And his take on Thor and our take visually on Thor is very different than the hunky Australian you might know. You know, he's much closer to the Norse mythology version. You know, he's this big, burly, almost hedonistic man-child, red hair, you know, left-handed, just a little off-kilter than the Thor that a lot of people know right now. So I can't wait for people to experience more of that when the game's done.
We also heard the name Odin in tonight's trailer. So I imagine if we're going to experience Ragnarok, Odin's going to have to play a pretty big role here, right?
Definitely. I mean, Odin is the Allfather of all the realms, so he's going to show up when Ragnarok happens. We're very, very happy to have Mr. Richard Schiff come on to play Odin for us. You may know him as Toby from The West Wing. This was one that we never thought was going to happen. It was like kind of a shot in the dark, and he got back to us, and we walked him around the mocap volume, and he was just like, I've never done anything like this before. Let's do it. And so the kind of rest is history. So I can't wait for people to experience that and see how he factors in. And it's a very different take, again, much like Thor. You know, he's like a old man who's just kind of busy with his own things and doing whatever he wants. And he doesn't live in a castle or anything like that. So it's again, a different take, kind of what we do. We just take what's known and curveball it a little bit and, you know, make it special.
We also saw a couple of new characters tonight. So what can you tell us about them?
Are you talking about the little squid? Oh no, you're talking about Tyr, the big guy. Yeah, he's the Norse god of war. And Kratos and Atreus have finally found him. We talked a lot about him in 2018, so we were like, well, we might as well show him to the people. And then the last character we saw at the trailer, you know, like with the little wink and smile from Angrboda, she's one of the last remaining giants, and her story is pretty amazing and how it fits into the world of God of War. Tyr is being played by Ben Prendergast, who's been completely absorbed in the role, even though he is not a giant as Tyr is. And then Angrboda is being played by Leia de Leon Hayes, who's a complete treasure on set. She's been amazing. Watching her chemistry with the other characters has been amazing, and she's one of the last giants that's living. So we have those characters and a few more, and you know, there's a lot of different monsters you saw in there. And there's been so many talented people at the studio building this trailer and putting it together. I just want to give a shout out to the team. I love you guys. You know, I wish you could be here doing this interview with me. I wish you were all behind me right now at the studio. That would have been completely amazing. And you know, lastly, to our fans, we have a saying at the studio that we are fans of our fans, and I cannot wait to watch all the tweets, the messages, the reaction videos that you guys put out, and our team to be able to take that into heart and just get excited and hyped, and then use that to push us through to finish the game for you guys. So thank you very much.
Now, Corey, we haven't heard a whole lot out of you here tonight. So now that we know you're not directing God of War Ragnarok, I was hoping maybe you could give us a little clue about what you may or may not be working on next.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You'd like me to just spill the beans and tell you everything that's going on right now. We're actually doing a bunch of stuff. It's really exciting, all the things that we're doing, and you're tempted to know what is this, but I don't really have anything I can talk about right now specifically, mostly because we're really focused on God of War Ragnarok, that I am incredibly excited that I finally understand that that's what everyone was saying, God of War Ragnarok. I was way off. I was thinking it was something else that they were talking about. I think we'll wait to get any deeper into anything else until later. We'll talk again, Sid.
All right. Well, thank you, Corey, and thank you, Eric. And next up, we have Ryan Treadwell. He's the lead producer at Aspyr. And wouldn't you know, just a little while ago, we got the announcement of a remake for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So, Ryan, I guess my question is this like a remaster of the original game, or what's going on here?
It's so much more, Sid. This is a complete remake of this beloved Star Wars story. For Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, we are rebuilding from the ground up while maintaining that integrity of story and character from the original.
So Ryan, how much of a remake are we talking about here? I mean, is this updating some graphics, adding some higher resolution modes?
You know, the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is a true classic and one of our favorite Star Wars stories ever. We want to honor that original story and make it as impactful for players today. In terms of the visuals, we have an opportunity to present this story with a much higher level of fidelity than was possible in the past, while making sure that we're being authentic to what players loved about that original game.
So we know Aspyr from bringing classic Star Wars games to modern consoles, but this is a much bigger project than anything the studio's tackled before. So what can you tell me about the team behind the game?
You're absolutely right. While Aspyr has enjoyed a great relationship with Lucasfilm Games through our work bringing classic Star Wars games to new audiences on modern platforms, this project is on a completely different level to anything we have done before. That's why we knew we had to assemble the right team to do this project justice. We put together a team full of industry veterans from fan-favorite RPGs, even including the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It has been a really rewarding experience to assemble such a talented team to bring back an epic game. Of course, we're also working closely with the amazing teams at PlayStation and Lucasfilm Games. Together, we couldn't be more excited about what we'll be able to show you in the future. All of us are, of course, huge Star Wars fans too. One of the nice parts about building a team to make a big Star Wars game is the ability to instantly bond with all of the new people over your favorite aspects of Star Wars. We all have different Star Wars memorabilia behind us in every call, and it always sparks up a good conversation.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Very exciting stuff, and I'm definitely dying to see more of that one.
Thank you, Sid. It will be some time before we're ready to show more, but we're very excited about being able to reveal more in the future.
All right, and that's it for our show. You can catch up on all the big news on PlayStation.blog and check out all the trailers from tonight's PlayStation Showcase on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
PlayStation.
Beyond and hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Dornbush, and this is a very special live episode of Podcast Beyond, where we are reacting right after the PlayStation Showcase that we just saw, the first proper PlayStation Showcase since late last year. This was intended to give us a look ahead at what's to come for the PS5 and the PS4 a little bit, and we have a lot to dig into. So without further ado, let me introduce the rest of my cast. I'm joined this week by Brian Altana.
Snick, bub.
Oh, God. We're already there. Lucy O'Brien is also with us on this week's episode. Thank you, Lucy, for being here.
Is the noise snicked?
It is snicked. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, of course, we're referring to Alan Wake here, but we'll get to that in a bit. And we're also joined this week by Matt Kim. I almost just called you Alan Wake. Hello, Matt. Good to see you. Classic Alan Wake. No, there was an Alan Wake trailer in the show, but we do actually have a lot to jump into. I do want to get sort of like brief overview thoughts and then want to jump into some of the specifics. So Brian, I'll start with you. Just like very top line, very quickly. What did you think of the showcase overall?
It took a little while to get going, but then I think they really hit the pedal to the metal for the last 20 minutes, not including the card game, which I wasn't interested in, but all of the games that they were announcing towards the end, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, more God of War, just lots and lots of really great stuff. That's what I'm looking for, and they delivered there. So yeah.
Yeah, Lucy, what about you? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help that there was a lot of like hype. There were a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is going to be the biggest show for Sony." Blah 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 blah. So I think for me personally, my hype levels were very high, and so because it started off kind of slowly, I was like, "When is this going to start? When is this show going to start in earnest?" But then I'm looking through our notes for what was actually sort of shown off. And ultimately, I think it was a really strong show. I mean, like, yes, it did take a while to get to the heavy hitters, but like there was some fantastic stuff sprinkled through there. Forspoken, Alan Wake Remastered, Ghostwire Tokyo. I mean, there were a lot of good things among the big talking points as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely safe to say in the beginning, I felt a lot like the, not gonna lie, almost had me in the first half sort of meme was where we were kind of at for the beginning, but it really got going. Matt, before we jump into specifics, just want to get your overall thoughts as well. Yeah, it finished super strong, and to sort of wrap it all together, the ending of the show was sort of a PlayStation Studios first-party update. We finally got first looks at gameplay for God of War. Surprise, it's called God of War Ragnarok, and a few other things, but I want to start with the Insomniac of it all, because we got 2 confirmed Insomniac games here, and I just kind of want to set the groundwork right now. Insomniac, since being acquired by PlayStation for the PS5, has done Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and a PS5 update for Spider-Man Remastered. And now we're getting 2 games from them. We're getting Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. I think, to go back to Brian, your opening, let's start with Wolverine. I think we can all attest I was a giddy little child when that trailer came up. What was your sort of reaction to it?
I mean, it's fantastic. I think you just nailed it too. Like Insomniac is not single-handedly holding up the PS5 right now, but they are doing a lot of heavy lifting. This is awesome. We haven't had like a dedicated Wolverine game in quite some time. We were talking before the show about the tie-in game that came with the Wolverine movie that most people didn't like, but the game itself was really cool. This feels like aesthetically exactly what I want from a Wolverine game. It's obviously a little bit bloodier than the last few Insomniac games. You saw the claws pop out. We've already been sort of digging through a lot of specific little details here. The cash register has 1974 on it. It took me a minute to realize that's when the character was created. There's a license plate that says Hulk, HLK. So I have a feeling we're going to be pouring through this little teaser for a while. It does feel like this is a ways off, which is fine. Take your time. I'm really happy it's happening. I'm hoping it's an open world-ish game. This allows them to get into a lot of the grittier, darker corners of the MCU or the Marvel licenses and properties that Spider-Man doesn't necessarily touch on as being a slightly campier thing. So I'm tremendously excited for this. This is one of those perfect pairings. When we heard a couple years ago about Marvel kind of opening up the vaults and companies being able to make games, I think we were all sort of like, yeah, but when are we going to get like an X-Men game or a Wolverine game? Like I have an X-Men game running on my arcade cabinet right now. I'm so excited for this. So yeah, I don't want to hog all the air, but this to me, this is the biggest announcement of the show by far.
Oh no, please, I can talk about this the whole show. Yeah, X-Men is like my foundation for comic books and superheroes. Like it is what got me into Marvel and comic books in general. It is the thing I most associate to, out of that universe or any of those. And the fact that Insomniac is doing it after they proved what they could do with Spider-Man is just, it's perfect. It makes me so happy. Like it is hard for me to contain composure because I just like, oh yes, of course, keep giving them Marvel games because they've proven they can knock it out of the park on every level. This is really exciting. I'm with you. I hope it is a little bit more darker, a little bit more grittier than Spider-Man lets us explore some of those corners of the universe. Lucy, what did you think about this announcement? Also just, in conjunction with what Insomniac is putting out these days.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Dorno. Like X-Men were my comics as well when I was growing up. And I'm very, very intrigued to see what they do with his character. I mean, we've really only had a sort of singular, outside of the cartoons back in the day, we've only really had Hugh Jackman's Logan, to sort of to represent the Wolverine character outside of the comics for so long. And so this is going to be a really interesting sort of case study. I think that Insomniac did such a wonderful job with Peter Parker, with Spider-Man, and I'm very curious where they're going to take this character. I mean, obviously it will be a darker game. It has to be because Logan is a darker character. But it's got to be separate from the Hugh Jackman character and stand alone as Peter Parker did from any number of the cinematic Spideys. So as much as I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing with gameplay, I'm really excited to see how they're going to actually bring this character to life and who's going to perform him.
Yeah, right. I'm very curious about that. You're totally right. Like he's such a storied character, but in sort of like the modern consciousness, it is hard not to think of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Well, you have that sort of uncanny valley happening with the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, which we just saw earlier too. So I hadn't even thought of that, Lucy. You're right.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see that. And Matt, I want to get your reaction to it, but also just in general, like, do you think this is? I think they're going to, somehow tie these things together. I don't think it's going to be separate. But do you assume we're kind of getting an Insomniac Marvel universe now?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the doors are wide open, right? Like you give them Spider-Man, you give them Wolverine. Who's next is obviously a real question now because there could be a possibility. My biggest question though is honestly like what's the style going to be like? Is it going to be like an open world sandboxy Wolverine game, or is it going to be a little more linear, a little more story driven, or single player esque, right? So I'm really curious about that move.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, they do have their open world for Spider-Man, but it's kind of weird to think, oh yeah, we'll have an open world as Wolverine, and is he just running around the streets of Manhattan, kind of like huffing it through like that's not what you want out of a Wolverine, at least not.
He's a big leaper. He can leap.
He can leap, yes. Not as much as Hulk, but he can leap.
He's got a sick motorcycle too, so he's
very true.
There is motorcycle tech in the PlayStation Studios family with Days Gone, so maybe they can marry that with Wolverine. We can see what happens.
We all know that's how video games get made. You just
Exactly.
borrow a motorcycle from another game.
You copy and paste it and can
We're
go
just
over,
assuming that it takes place in New York and Spider-Man's gonna be swinging in the back of the game the whole time.
I mean, for me, it's you know, I think you or someone else was pointing out the Goodman Street. Someone on the staff has pointed out that that's a reference to a former Marvel EIC possibly, but like Greenwich Street is mentioned there. So like, I assume at least some of this is set in New York.
Right.
I don't know the specific diner he may be sitting at, Brian. Maybe perhaps you know better than me.
That's the
but-
diner from Seinfeld.
Gotcha. Of course.
Thought
yeah.
so.
It's actually the same. It's the same.
It's on
font.
the tip of my tongue.
I do think it's a send up for that, honestly.
In Greenwich Village. But no, of course, we're seeing a little bit of gameplay from the Spider-Man trailer as well, which is worth pointing to because as you were saying, we don't have a release date for Wolverine. We don't really have too full of a scope of where it is in production. But Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I'm calling it for now until we get another title, is coming in 2023. We got that release date. Brian, I do want to throw to you first. What did you feel about getting, you know, a couple years from now release date for this?
You know, I guess it's refreshing because everything's been 2022 for all of 2021. So it's cool they're shaking it up, throwing 2023 out there. I hadn't actually thought of that year yet. I know naturally it's coming, but that's not really. I've been so focused on like how do we get, you know, there's so many big games this year, so many games Q1 next year. Personally, I'm really happy that they're finally, not finally, but they're doing Venom. I remember we'd theorized about this for a very long time. I think everybody, this is a natural progression for these games, right? But it's also just awesome to see these two Spider-Mans or Spider-Men team up. You know, hopefully that's something that we're gonna see in movie form soon, but also in 2023, hopefully we'll get to switch between those characters on the fly. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, according to the PlayStation blog, it is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So yeah, it feels like a good marriage of what's come so far. Lucy, I know we've talked a bit about it. We interviewed the director of Miles Morales last year, and obviously we've been talking about Spider-Man since the initial release. Where was your excitement level for it after seeing this trailer and kind of knowing we've got Miles, we've got Peter, and we seem to be getting a bit of a darker tale from them as well?
I mean, yeah, we didn't see much story aside from little flashes, you know, Venom, etc. One thing that I'm kind of interested in is if you can switch between the two characters, does that mean that there's a potential for like a sort of two-player experience? Because that would be extremely cool if you could, you know, have one person play Miles and one person play Peter, and they've got different skill sets. That could be really exciting. But again, you know, this to me is more like, okay, I'm really interested in a deep dive on the gameplay that we saw. I haven't had a chance to really watch it again since we just saw it, but I think there's a lot to sort of crunch into here. Our team is currently pulling together a trailer breakdown, so look out for that. But yeah, you know, look, I love both Spider-Mens, and I'm extremely stoked for this one and that particular team up. I want to see more of the dynamic between Miles and Peter. Like, I love their relationship. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, Miles, obviously, without spoilers, really came into his own at the end of his story. And so I'm excited to see the two of them kind of both sure-headed spiders band being able to take on enemies together. I do want to just point out the PlayStation blog post for Spider-Man confirms that the original Candyman himself, Tony Todd, is voicing Venom.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
And
Matt,
he's got a voice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we heard a little bit in the trailer. That was great.
Yeah, we got a little bit of his voice in the trailer. Matt, I do want to get your thoughts on it. We were talking a little bit, you know, as the show was going on. The teaser, it felt like obviously there's Venom in there. We see Venom's face. It felt like there might be points to Kraven the Hunter as well, maybe in there. Maybe that's just us reading into things. It's hard to say. But where were you sort of like at the end of that trailer? Your expectations for a new Spider-Man adventure, like where does it set you off on that level?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I was saying when we were talking about the show, like I'm pretty confident that we heard two different villain voices in that trailer, and I think the first one is Kraven, but that we'll leave that for the trailer breakdown that Lucy's team's putting together. I'm excited. I know kind of already what to expect since Insomniac has already made two very good Spider-Man games, so I'm gonna be honest, like I was not surprised only because I knew a Spider-Man 2 was always in the cards, and I kind of always expected this team up, and I kind of always, like, we knew Venom was going to be in it. So actually, it's just nice seeing it, but we already kind of got the pieces together for this one, you know?
And as Lucy said, we knew there were going to be big things in this show, and we did get a big thing here. But yeah, it's very cool to see that all confirmed. 2023 makes sense. I don't know how all of you feel. I was really going through this before the show of like, I feel like we might see Spider-Man, but it just didn't seem like it would make sense for next year, because putting out Horizon, God of War, and Spider-Man in a single year just kind of feels like a little like overkill. Like spreading things out seems like a good idea, but yeah,
especially for a console that you still cannot buy, and that there were no announcements on that being any easier, and that we know from chip shortages, which still does sound like the name of a 70s baseball player, that we might not be able to buy this console, or the average consumer might not be able to get it for a while. So 2023 is maybe the same day you'll be able to finally walk into Target and get a PS5. Who knows?
It's definitely a good time for people. And I will say we're going to have to go to a break in a little bit. So I want to save full sort of God of War thoughts, because I think that's the next thing to jump into after this, of course. But, you know, I have been so impressed by what Insomniac's done since they officially joined the PlayStation family. I believe it was 2019. I think it happened like right around Gamescom that year. And just them continuing to, you know, knock it out of the park like this. I love that they've got this corner of a Marvel universe. Maybe Lucy, just to wrap up with you. You know, we've seen a few more PlayStation acquisitions recently. I feel like, you know, Insomniac has more than proved their mettle. Do you hope we continue to see other things from them, or like, where do you sit in terms of them being like a Marvel house versus the other ingenuity we see from them?
That's interesting, because honestly, I was just thinking about that. I mean, because there was a moment where someone said, you know, when we were talking among ourselves during the show, and someone was like, infamous, you know, and it's sort of like it would be nice. I mean, I know Infamous is sucker punch, but it would be nice to see more of that kind of original style IP come back. I mean, I do love that we have these properties now, but it would be great to sort of see Insomniac in particular be able to flex a little bit outside of the Marvel properties. But we'll see. I mean, you know, they're making Sony a lot of money right now, and maybe there's a proviso that, okay, after this one, you know, after Spidey, you can go out and make something completely original.
The one for me, one for you sort of methodology.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I'm really hoping we get to see them do stuff whenever PSVR 2 becomes a thing, because they've done VR work before. And I'm hoping that we can get to see a little bit from them. But quickly, before we go to break, Brian or Matt, just any sort of last thoughts on the Insomniac sort of, you know, big centerpiece moments from today's show?
I mean, I'm a little split, because I love what Lucy's saying about like getting kind of those games that aren't based on billion-dollar reputable, you know, recognizable IPs. But on the flip side, she's right. They make them so much money, and it's like, why they're not going to reach for the off-brand cereal bags at the bottom when they can get the big stuff on the shelf. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they're sticking with what works. Spider-Man's awesome. Wolverine's going to be great. And I'd love to see more strange stuff from them in the future. But until then, I'm happy with Marvel games being good again.
Doctor Strange?
I was going to say.
Some Doctor Strange stuff?
Lightning round before break. What Marvel character should they take next if they continue to go down this Marvel train?
Oh, you guys go first.
No. Don't do that. It's
all right.
Okay, fine. Gambit.
I love Gambit. Gambit is great. I'm going to say, I believe he was an X-Men called Maggot, where he just had 2 weird maggots on his arms, and that was all he did. He was a weird dude, but I remember him from the X-Men Encyclopedia.
You've tanked the company.
Okay,
anyway,
if you've tanked it, then I'm going to say Toad, because it's like
there we
anyway.
Go. Anyway, we've got to go to a break, but we'll be right back with plenty more to talk about, including God of War Ragnarok. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Hello and welcome back to Podcast Beyond. I'm your host, Jonathan Dornbush, joined by Brian, Lucy, and Matt to talk about everything going on in this very packed PlayStation showcase. We just got done talking a little bit about the insomniac of it all with Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. Now I want to shift focus to, I think, the other major first-party reveal, which was, of course, finally not just the name reveal, which I think it's fair to say none of us saw coming whatsoever, but also some gameplay for the newly announced God of War Ragnarok. I'll just give you all a minute to deal with the title. I know it's a lot. How are you all feeling? Good? Okay. Obviously, God of War Ragnarok was a teased sort of title for this game for quite some time, leaked in a Sony document, then not really officially announced, etc., etc. But Ragnarok obviously has very strong ties in Norse mythology and to the Thor film franchise. But I want to talk really about, we're getting a really big chunk of gameplay in here. Let's start with just like overall thoughts on it. Brian, what did this sort of, deep dive look do for you, and what were you most excited about seeing?
I think that obviously the sort of new car smell has worn off a little bit for this. It's not exactly like the big momentous giant moment of finding out that they're making a brand new God of War again. It's more of a thing we loved, which obviously, that you take that down a step, still amazing news. The last game left with some really interesting kind of doors open, which I guess they dive into right here. And also just one of the most powerful and sort of like personal stories that we've seen in like a big AAA action game in a very, very long time. And there's a lot to explore there. And, this was sort of like a, hey, all your friends are back kind of thing, right? There's a lot of characters in this game or in this trailer that we saw from the first game. There's some new mechanics that we're seeing, obviously. But there's also like some new enemies, some new characters. I think this is going to be just one of those sort of quintessential bigger, better, bolder sort of sequels. And I think for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, we get more of the gameplay, combat wise, some exploration. I really loved, if you're watching the video version, the sort of showcase of this civilization area, like an actual village sort of locale, because I love the world of the first game, but it is a very desolate world. It is sort of a lot of dilapidated structures, and the sense of life in the area is not quite the same. This feels like there's a bit of a civilization going on here. There's more to it, and it sort of expands the cast for them.
Yeah, there'll be hubs, right? I think it's what we're getting from all this, which is cool.
Totally. And yeah, we continue to see, Kratos and Atreus fighting together. I think fair to say, full spoilers for the end of God of War. If you have not finished God of War, this trailer reveals the biggest like, you know, twists from the end of God of War. So I guess, you know, don't watch the video if you don't want to know. But Lucy, what was your sort of overall take on what we saw before we jump into some specifics?
Yeah, I mean, like I agree with Brian insofar as it is the first time we saw it. It was such a departure. It was such a departure from what we knew God of War, you know, was, and this is more sort of, it's not more of the same, but it's very much in the same universe and the same characters, etc., etc. But one of the things that I love so much about, you know, that God of War that looks to continue in this one is relationship dynamics and characters and that sort of thing. And I love that Mimir is returning. I love that, you know, the storyline is very much a continuation. So that sort of revenge plot line is still there. You know, Freya is still really angry. I mean, I'm just looking forward to kind of seeing more of those characters and that story. For me, that's where my excitement lies. I mean, again, it's kind of one of those things where I need to watch it one more time just to take a look at all the sort of new kind of gameplay that we saw. But I definitely didn't need a big departure from the formula that was already established.
For sure. Yeah, I think there's so much they got right with that first one, and it's just sort of about wanting fine-tuning and finessing and extrapolation of what they did there. Matt, obviously, Brian, Lucy, and I were on Podcast Beyond at the time God of War was coming out. You were not at IGN at that point, so I don't know like your full history with this God of War or anything, but I guess where were your excitement levels before this, and what did you feel about the trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I am one of those people who came along to God of War with this incarnation. You know, the original PlayStation games didn't really do it for me. And then I saw this, and then it was really narrative driven, and they really just ran with the series and just took over. And that's where I came along. And so I'm really excited. I feel like I've had the opposite reaction to Spider-Man, where in Spider-Man 2, I was like, yeah, I 100% expected Spider-Man 2, and I kind of 100% expected what we were going to see. But God of War 2 just is, they look like they're taking new directions, you know, with the civilization stuff, right? And I just get excited when Kratos punches things. When he was punching that centaur in the gut, like that's amazing. I love it. The looks at the combat, and yeah, I'm just going to say it, the fact that they're highlighting he still has the Blades of Chaos, he still has the Leviathan axe, he's using those in tandem. But yeah, there's a lot of like gruesome monsters and things that he's fighting in this trailer. Brian, as a fan of the creature work of the Star Wars universe, I just wanted your sort of overall impression on like the enemy variety that we've seen and sort of the combat aspects of what we got here. Because you know, the first game, you're fighting a lot of Draugr.
You are, yeah. I mean, there's you know, some sort of big sort of giant troll characters that you fight early on, and then you fight them kind of repeatedly throughout the game. But the game did get interesting in terms of creature design and sort of monster aesthetics, which is a big thing I love in video games. And it seems like it's continuing that here. That's what I love. Like, I think that one of the things that was sort of missing from the old games was that sense of scale, to the point of, you know, climbing up a giant god's hands or something like that, and, you know, stabbing it in the eye. That thing that Shadow of the Colossus did so well. And so I hope they get that a little bit here. Obviously, you had moments of that in the last game, but there's a great opportunity to ramp that up more and more here. But also, like, the combat was just phenomenal in the last game, and it scaled really well to people who really wanted to get into it. You know, there were the sort of Valkyrie fights that you could go in and play like you were playing a FromSoft games and just really go high level, or you could just kind of stick to
Посмотрели эту презентацию Sony. Куча всего интересного.
There's a fire burning in your eyes, Acolyte. I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. The city is dying. The court is our last safe haven. join my brethren and take back control. It's now or never. I can see your confusion. You must have been locked away for a long time. You'll be in for a rude awakening. The world has changed in a heartbeat. I'd explain more, but it's best to witness the new order with your own eyes. Brother Eli will reveal your destiny.
Lost your way. Maybe I can help. Didn't strike first, huh? Wise choice. Although these days I wouldn't blame you. There aren't a lot of good people around Jericho these days. Can't help but wonder whose side you're on. You'll be one of the dead guys soon if you don't upgrade your pitiful equipment. Trust me, I know my stuff. I might tell you one of these days, if you live long enough. Beats me. I should have been smart enough to leave when there was still time, but I got inconvenienced. Helping people is kind of what I do. Besides, I still have some unfinished business here. Let's leave it at that. Take care now.
Військово-спасательний дрон.
citizens. Everybody in Jericho City is urged to stay inside until further notice. Government scientists are working around the clock to find a cure for the disease known as defrag. Avoid all human contact if possible. Your safety cannot be guaranteed.
Завалило. Короче, прикольно, надо продолжать. Попробовать дальше.
Welcome to Jericho City. Exploring our sprawling downtown can be a bit intimidating at first. There's always something fun going on wherever you go. You'll find street musicians, artists, newcomers, tourists, families, couples, wallflowers, the poor and the rich. In Jericho, we live together in harmony and respect each other's boundaries. So take a deep breath and enjoy the sights. And if you can't find your way, why not ask one of our friendly locals? Этот дрон что делает? Поисково-спасатель.